Hello everybody, how's it going? We got just under 5 days left in this round 5 of the Season 1 Championship. And the final special event comes to us in the form of limited series featuring Nissan Leaf Nismo RC. Yeah, it's a Leaf. I wonder if Toyota's gonna come out with the Prius GT. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, anyway, all kidding aside, let's take a look at the limited series that we got here. Check out the rewards. Of course, as always, includes the car itself, which is worth some 600 gold, which, if you ask me, seems a bit steep for what it can do, what it's capable. I mean, base PR 42.6, maxes out at 60.2. Does that warrant the price of 600 gold? I don't know. It seems little steep for me. Anyway, that's what we're getting. And then 5,250 victory points. Of course, that's worth something. Depending on where you are in the season, what it's worth to you might differ. And 50 gold, which of course will all go into invested back into the car to meet the PR requirement to win this car in this limited series, plus 150,000 racing dollars. But we're not too concerned about that, of course. So it's a 7-day event. So once you start the event, you get 7 days to complete it, which is typically a pretty long duration of time. And as long as you start the event before the season expires, which is in, like, as you saw, 4 days and 22 hours and change or something like that, the event is unlocked. So, you're good to go. But if you don't start the event before the season expires, then you would have to buy the car flat out before you're even able to run through the limited series. So, and of course, the car is removed as a reward at that point because, well, I mean, you purchased it to run it, right? So, yeah. So that's how these limited series run. Anyway, what do we have? Nissan Leaf Nismo RC Limited Series. Earn a Nissan Leaf Nismo RC by 100% completing this series. With twice the amounts of power and torque as its predecessor, the Nissan Leaf Nismo RC is an electric beast, ready to be unleashed on the track. That definitely looks the part. It does not look like your average Leaf that you see, around your neighborhood. Right? I certainly hope not. I hope it's not the commuter car that we see in the neighborhood. Nothing against commuter cars. They're wonderful. They fulfill their function. This obviously should be a different function altogether, right? So anyway, rewards wise, broken down into 25% completion increment. First 25% completion get you 750 victory points, 5 gold, and 15,000 racing dollars, not motorsport dollars. And in order to accomplish that, you need to complete the tier 4, which, by the way, requires PR 47.3. And is that achievable with racing dollar upgrades alone? The answer is no. The racing dollar, because this car obviously is electric, there's no exhaust category, right? So we're running with only 6 categories. So how that converts, how that works out is, of course, it works out in favor of fire monkeys. It gets expensive to upgrade because we have one less category that we can get a PR boost from, with the racing dollar upgrades on every racing dollar tier. So unfortunately, three 3 upgrades across the board, which is what we normally do for these limited series, ain't gonna be enough because 3 upgrades across the board doesn't quite get you 21 upgrades out of 28 available. Instead, it only gets you 18. And that is significant because that's, well, not enough. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So in order to 100% complete this limited series, you actually need a PR 55.9, which is basically some 13.3 PR point boost that we're going to need on this car. And should we talk about that first? Let's talk about that first. Let's go to the final tier. Pick up the grand prize, right? And then we'll talk about the upgrade tree, cost, all that fun stuff, right? And then, yes, pick up a few, come on, you can do it, victory points. And then, yes, there is 3-hour instant service and instant upgrades available upon completing that first event, like all the other limited series. So don't start upgrading right away as soon as you jump into the limited series. Do a race first, and then it'll trigger your limited, the 3-hour offer, right? So, as I said, base PR 42.6. Let's put some upgrades on as this, here, let's go back to the final tier, tier 15, where they require PR 55.9. There is a way to get to exactly the PR 55.9, but it actually ends up costing you more gold. So, as always, gold is the king of currency in Real Racing 3. I don't care what anybody else says, but I'm sure everybody agrees. Gold is the king of currency in the game. There, right? So we want to try to conserve as much gold as possible. And the way we reach the PR requirement is we're going to be overshooting a little bit than what's required, but that actually ends up costing us less. So here's what I mean. So for the first category, engine, we need to get 3 upgrades out of 6 available, right? 46 gold there, and racing dollar sandwich, right? And then the next category, drivetrain, for this car, there are only 3 categories, so we're gonna max that out. So you need to get at least 3 upgrades across the board, I guess, you know, and then some, right? So for example, speaking of then some category, body is one of those then some categories where we actually need to get all 5 upgrades or 5 stages of upgrades. So there we go. And the fact that these or this category, body, has an odd number of stages for upgrades, you know, that does work in our favor because even number category stages are the gold upgrades, right? So body, we max it out, and suspension, we just need 3 upgrades here because it's kind of a pricey category. So, you know, the tier stage 4 upgrade, as you can see, is 90 gold, so it's beginning to get a bit steep there. So we're gonna leave that at 3 upgrades. And then the next category, brakes, is always the cheapest one. So this one we're gonna max out because for 65 gold on stage 4 upgrade, it unlocks another racing dollar upgrade, which is the final tier. So we get a, you know, essentially 2 upgrades for the cost of single gold upgrades, right? And then final category, tires and wheels, 3 upgrades. So 55.7. So just, you know, we're not quite getting up to 55.9 figures, right? But that's a cheap upgrade. And then we'll get that tier 3 racing dollar upgrade to bring the PR up to 56.3. So we're overshooting a little bit, you know, higher than 55.9, but that's a-okay, right? It's cheaper. You know, so for all those upgrades, where you get 3 upgrades across the board, except for 2 categories: the body and brakes, where you get maxed out. The total cost is 371 gold. I suppose that's about what you expect for, this car at this range. And the racing dollar cost wise, it'll cost you 1,107,200 racing dollars. But racing dollars, do you really keep track of how much you spend at this point? Probably not. I hope not. So anyway, so that is the way to meet the PR requirement to win this car through this limited series. Now, this car is featured in a single bonus series, Shock Showdown. You find that in, wait. Oh yeah, because of the new version, right. I forget that I've already downloaded the new version. Yes, in the new 10.2, there is an exclusive series featuring this car. So this car is technically featured in 2 series, not just 1. So, but cost of entry for that is rather steep. So I wouldn't, really bother with that, at least not yet. Unless you, for some weird reason, you really love this car, then, have at it. World is your oyster, or something. Anyway, so let's talk about then the bonus series, where you just need to put, it's gonna be, with this limited series PR, you should be able to complete like 75% of that bonus series, which means there's some, I don't know, like 40 some gold, somewhere around 40 gold to be won. It might be 39. Anyway, somewhere around there, right? So, but if you want to complete the Shock Showdown bonus series all the way, you do need to put a few more upgrades on board, and also you do need to own both cars featured in the series, both electric cars. Yes, the original electric car in the game was, of course, way back when, Renault Desire concept. I know it looks like it's Desire or Desire. That's goofy way of spelling desire. Leave it to the French. Anyway, Renault Desire concept, which has its own separate series in the game. And then finally, it gets a second bonus series that the car can run in. Hooray! So anyway, and currently there is a discount. I think it's 35% discount on that car, and you should be able to land like, rank B if you max out that car for this week's weekly time trial. So that's extra like 100 gold discount. Obviously, not everybody can land, top 1%. So, but if you've been playing for a while, chances are you have skills to get you there, right? So, anyway, so that's all the things that you need to know. Well, actually, so if you want to continue on to 100% complete Shock Showdown bonus series, you do need extra upgrades, because that series requires PR 58.8, which Renault, unfortunately, and kind of expectedly, cannot meet. So it has to be the Nissan. And it's kind of the same company, isn't it? Now that the Nissan's kind of been financially rescued, I guess, by Renault, which French government has a major stake in. So there's a bit of tension there, like international tension between Japan and France. A little bit, there's the whole saga with the Carlos gone, right? Yeah. Things that you read about in like spy novels. Crazy dramas. But anyway, I think he's currently in Lebanon, right? Lebanon? Yeah, so, anyway, I digress. back to the point. So, if you want to meet the PR requirement for the bonus series the cars featured in, you will need to get the engine stage 4 upgrade for 105 gold, and that unlocks the tier 5 or stage 5 racing dollar upgrade. So you're gonna need to get that. You don't need the final gold upgrade in engine, which is 240 gold. That's getting super expensive for this car. And then the next category that you're gonna have to max out is, of course, suspension, where there are those extra, racing dollar upgrades by unlocking one, right? So that gets your PR up to 58.9, which is just PR 0.1 PR point higher than what's required. So that's what you need, which means now you're spending some 566 gold. So that's 195 additional gold to how you would win the car. And for what? For 27 extra gold that you will win for completing the 100% of the Shock Showdown's bonus series, right? And of course, if you want to participate in the exclusive series, then you need to get those final 2 gold upgrades. 80 gold for the final stage upgrade in tires and wheels, and yes, 240 gold for engine. So the full upgrade cost for this car is 886 gold. A bit too rich for my blood, if you're talking, if you ask me. But hey, as I said, if you got gold to burn and if you love this car, can't live without, then well, there you have it. So that's that. Upgrade cost, depending on how far you want to go with this car, and the upgrade tree for fulfill those goals, and the cost associated with that. All right, so that is that. I'll have the numbers in the description box below, so you guys don't have to try to remember what I just said, because there are a lot of numbers that I've been, spewing out here, and I have written these down because I wouldn't remember all these numbers, you know what I mean? So I'll just pass it on to you guys, as always. Anyway, now that we're through that, let's talk about the series itself. All right, so starting with a tier 1, Speed Snap, Bugatti Circuit. That's kind of that takes place, like you have to go through, negotiate through 4 different corners, I think. Is that really necessary for a Speed Snap? No, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that's that. Not the longest one though. I mean, it's not like Daytona or Nürburgring. Those Speed Snaps tend to be, I think, longer, if I remember correctly. Head to head at the Brickyard road course, just a single lapper, as you would expect. And the first tier cup is going to be at Monza Junior course, 2 laps. And of course, tier 1, there are no PR requirements, so you can get through there, but not going to go any further without any upgrades, because you'll get stuck here. But before you get stuck, you can run through Hunter at Silverstone Bridge Grand Prix. So that's a full lap. Autocross at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix circuit. And the Cup at Spa, single lap, PR 45.1 required. So obviously you need some upgrades. All right. Tier 3, we got Endurance at Laguna Seca. So depending on your margin of victory, your target distance will vary. And we got Elimination at Melbourne. So, one of those events, the venue is somewhat irrelevant in terms of, how long it's going to last, because you have to survive for 2 minutes, 20 seconds, right? 140 seconds. And the Cup for Tier 3 is going to take place at Suzuka East, 3 laps. PR 46.3 is required. And then Tier 4, your 25% completion tier for that, what was the reward again? It was 5 gold, 750 victory points, 15,000 racing dollars, right? So we got head-to-head at Nürburgring Grand Prix. That's a full lap. Autocross at Hockenheim Grand Prix. Both night races. All right. Night races in Germany. All right. And then for Cup, we're gonna head on over down under, right, to Bathurst Mount Panorama. It's gonna be a 2-lap Cup. PR 47.3 required. So that's beyond the reach of racing dollar upgrades on this car. So you will need to invest some gold, which means if you get past that point, you're in it to win it, right? All right, so on to Tier 5. We got Speed Snap at Porsche Test Track, short on-road circuit, followed by Elimination at Daytona Motorcycle Course. And Tier 5 Cup is going to be at Melbourne, 4 laps, street circuit, PR 48.1 required. All right, Tier 6, we got Speed Record at Suzuka East, Endurance at Catalunya National, and the Cup is going to be at Road Course section of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 3 laps with a PR requirement of 48.9. On to Tier 7. We got a head-to-head at Spa single lap. A lot of these races are fairly lengthy for this car, I feel like. All right. Speed Snap at Dubai Club. That's not a long one, though. And then Tier 7 Cup takes place at Hockenheim Grand Prix. 2 laps, PR 49.7 required, which is what's going to be required for claiming the 50% completion reward in this series, which is 1,000 victory points, 10 additional gold, and 30,000 racing dollars. You need to complete or win 2 gold trophies in Tier 8, of course. So you don't have to do the Cup, but as I said earlier, if you're in this far, you're in it to win it. So I guess it doesn't really matter in a way, right? All right, so we got Speed Record at Silverstone Grand Prix, so that's a full lap. Hunter at National Circuit of Circuit of the Americas, so that's, not terribly long, but a full lap nevertheless. And the Cup for Tier 8 is going to be at Laguna Seca. 3 laps, PR 50.5 is required. All right, heading on over to next tier, Tier 9, we got Autocross at Catalunya Club. So that's, you guys all know how much I love that Autocross. Catalunya Club is the shortest one. Quick win. And then we got Elimination at Red Bull Ring Grand Prix. And Tier 9 Cup is going to be at Leipzig Circuit, Porsche Test Track, long on-road circuit. 3 laps with a PR requirement of 51.2. Tier 10, Speed Record at Melbourne. That's a lap. Endurance at Dubai Club Circuit. That's a fun circuit, and the Cup at Nürburgring Grand Prix for this tier. 3 laps, PR 51.9 required. Right, Tier 10 that is. Forgot what tier I was on. Tier 11. All right, we got Speed Snap at Suzuka East. Drag race, this is the first one. Electric car drag race. Right, we know how that goes. Not the most exciting thing. Not that drag races in the game is all that exciting to begin with, but yeah, with the electric cars, it's even less. Oh boy, but I guess they have to throw it in. I mean, they really don't have to, but I feel like they feel obligated. They need to put it in there. Anyway, fine. Then we got Cup at Circuit of the Americas Club Circuit. 7 laps, PR 52.7 required, which is what you're going to need to complete the 75% or claim the 75% completion reward, which is additional 1,500 victory points, 15 gold, 45,000 racing dollars. All right, and you get that by completing a gold trophy in Tier 12. So we got Autocross at Mount Panorama. the hill climb, right? And then we got a Hunter at Monza Road Course, so that's a full lap. And Le Mans 24-hour circuit morning race, the Cup race for Tier 12, which is 2 laps at this car. Oh, that is gonna be long. Definitely not looking forward to that one. PR 53.4 required. Oh, that is gonna be a grinder in itself. Man. Anyway, moving on. Tier 13, speed record at Catalunya Club. So that's a short lap. Endurance at Spa. Your distance may vary. And followed by the Cup at Daytona Road Course. 3 laps for PR 54.2. Alright, the penultimate tier. Tier 14, we got head-to-head at Red Bull Ring National Circuit. Just a single lapper. So it's a pretty quick one. Followed by another drag race. This one at Nürburgring Grand Prix. Not that it really matters, but that's where it is. It's got to take place, I guess, somewhere. And then Cup for the penultimate tier here is going to be at Silverstone National. 6 laps with a PR 55 required. I feel like this car would be more suited for like street circuit kind of races, but yeah, not like long circuit, but short lap circuit, you know. But what do I know? All right, here we are. Final tier, tier 15. We got elimination at Mount Panorama, Hunter at Hockenheim Grand Prix. That's a full lap. And the final Cup at Dubai Grand Prix. 4 laps with a PR requirement of 55.9. As we talked about it earlier, you would need to spend some 371 gold to get there, plus 1.1 million racing dollars and change. Yeah. So there you have it. So hopefully the video has been informative to you in strategizing what to do about this series, right? Good luck to you, and thanks for watching. All right, catch you guys in the next video. Take care.